Hey everyone, it's Chris. You know the stories I tell on this channel, raw, real, heartbreaking accounts of betrayal. But today's story? This one's personal. Maybe the most personal one I've ever told. Because this time, I wasn't just the narrator. I was the one living it. I met Emily when I was 23. She was 21, fresh out of college, with these bright green eyes that made you forget what you were saying mid-sentence. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue in Nashville, the kind of warm summer evening where you think everything in your life is falling into place. And for a while, it really did feel that way. We were inseparable. Shared playlists, road trips, midnight tacos, you know, all that stupid, sweet stuff couples do when they think they've found their forever person. We moved in together a year later. Then got married. Nothing flashy, just close friends, family, and a rented Airbnb on the lake. And I swear to you, as I stood there watching her walk down that path in her little lace dress, I knew, or thought I knew, this was it. This was real. The first year of marriage was smooth. Too smooth, maybe. She worked in event planning. I was building my own digital media company. We didn't have a lot of money, but we had big dreams. We were that cliché. Team against the world. But about 3 years in, things shifted. Subtly at first. Emily started working late more often. She got this new client, some luxury real estate guy who apparently demanded last-minute changes all the time. She started dressing different. Not like she was dressing for me. I'd come home and she'd already be out. Or I'd find takeout for one in the trash when I knew she hadn't mentioned dinner plans. And then came the passwords. I noticed she changed hers. Not just for work stuff, everything. Her phone, laptop, even the Spotify account. Who locks someone out of their shared playlists? I remember one night asking her, half joking, "Hey, you seeing someone or just going through your spy phase?" She laughed, but it was cold. Not playful, not Emily. "Don't be ridiculous," she said. "You're paranoid." Thing is, I wasn't. Not really. Not yet. I wanted to believe her. I needed to believe her. Because the idea that she might be cheating? It was like standing at the edge of a cliff and feeling the ground start to crumble under your feet. Still, something was off. Deep down, I could feel it in my gut, but I wasn't ready to face it. So I kept telling myself stories. She's tired, she's stressed, she's working hard for our future. But the truth was coming. And when it finally hit me, it hit like a damn truck. This isn't just a story about infidelity. It's a story about lies, manipulation, and the kind of heartbreak that turns you inside out. And trust me, it only gets crazier from here. Stick with me. Because what happened next? That's when I found out who Emily really was. I wish I could tell you it was some huge Hollywood-style discovery, a lipstick-stained shirt, a stranger showing up at my door. But real betrayal? It's quieter. It's colder. It creeps up on you like a shadow you didn't know was there. It started on a Tuesday night. I remember because I'd just gotten home early. A client bailed on a call, and I figured I'd surprise Emily with her favorite sushi. I opened the door expecting her on the couch, maybe halfway through some true crime show with a glass of white wine. But the place was empty. Lights off. Her car was in the driveway, but no sign of her. I called out. Nothing. I walked into the bedroom and heard the faint buzz of her phone on the nightstand. Unlocked. Maybe the universe wanted me to look, or maybe I was just done pretending not to feel the pit in my stomach. Her phone was open to Instagram DMs. The top message? A guy named Vince. Profile pic was some gray-haired dude in a designer suit standing next to a Rolls-Royce. The last message said, "Last night was unforgettable. Let me know if you need more for the trip. You deserve the best, baby." And then a winky face. Not just one. 3. My hands were shaking. I clicked the conversation, and my heart fell into my stomach. Photos. Hotel lobby selfies. Her in a red dress I'd never seen before. Her kissing him on the cheek in what looked like a private jet. And the worst? A message from her that read, He still doesn't suspect a thing. You were right, acting cold works. He was me. My legs buckled. I sat down on the edge of the bed, sushi bag still in my hand. I stared at that screen until her key turned in the lock. She walked in like nothing happened. Kicked off her heels, tossed her purse, and gave me a quick, "Hey babe, you're home early." I didn't say a word. Just handed her the phone. She looked at it. Blinked. And then, "I'll never forget this," she sighed. Not a guilty sigh. An annoyed one. Like I was the problem for finding out. She said, "Chris, it's not what it looks like." Classic line. But I wasn't ready for what came next. She told me Vince was just a client. That he was obsessed with her. And she was playing along to land a big commission. That he gifted her things. But she didn't do anything. Then she got mad. "Why were you going through my phone? Don't you trust me?" Gaslight. Deny. Flip the blame. I wanted to believe her, even as every bone in my body screamed at me not to. But then she said something I'll never forget. "I did it for us." That's when I realized this wasn't just a mistake. This was calculated. She wasn't crying. She wasn't sorry. She was managing me. Like a PR crisis. And the worst part? That was only the beginning. After she dropped the line, "I did it for us," something in me snapped. Not in an angry, throw things around the room kind of way. No. This was colder. Numb. Like someone had flipped a switch inside me and shut off the part that still wanted to believe in her. I asked her, "What exactly did you do for us, Emily? Sleep with him? Let him buy you? Pretend you're in love so he wires you money?" She didn't flinch. That was the part that made my stomach twist. No guilt. No panic. Just that blank, exhausted expression, like I was the one dragging this out. She said, "You're being dramatic, Chris. Nothing happened. He likes me. That's not a crime. I just flirted a little." I showed her the jet photos. The hotel selfies. I asked, "You flirted all the way to a 5-star suite?" That's when the switch flipped, in her. She went full performance mode. Tears too fast, the trembling voice, the hand clutching her chest. She said she felt trapped. That she was only doing it because she thought I deserved a better life. That she hated herself for what she did. It was like watching someone audition for a role they'd rehearsed in the mirror 100 times. And for a second, I bought it. I know how that sounds. I tell these stories all the time, and I always scream at the screen when someone forgives too fast. But when it's your wife? Your person? You want to believe the lie. Because the truth means the life you built, the life you sacrificed for, was fake. She said she ended things with Vince that morning. That she blocked him. That she only took the money to help pay off our debt. That she never felt anything for him. I asked, "So you sold yourself, for credit card payments?" She looked down. Didn't answer. That night, she cried herself to sleep next to me. I laid there staring at the ceiling, wide awake, trying to understand how I missed it all. The signs were there. The distance, the secrecy, the attitude shifts. But I chalked it up to work stress, routine, life. I told myself we'd fix it. Go to therapy. Start fresh. She swore it was a one-time thing, a moment of weakness in a world where money talks louder than morals. But even then, even lying there next to her, something deep inside me whispered, "This isn't over. She's not done." And that voice was right. Because what came next wasn't just another betrayal. It was a full-blown demolition of everything I thought love was. You ever lay next to someone you used to know, someone you used to love with your whole damn heart, and feel like you're sharing a bed with a stranger? That's what it became. Every night. After I forgave Emily, if you can even call it that, things didn't get better. Not really. On the outside, we played house. Smiled for friends. Posted dumb photos like, "Date night with my favorite human clinking glasses." When in reality, I couldn't even look her in the eyes for more than a few seconds without picturing her in that hotel suite. With him. I tried. I swear I tried. I told myself love was about forgiveness. About pushing through. About not letting one mistake define a person. But it wasn't one mistake. It was a series of tiny, soul-crushing betrayals. Every time she looked at her phone and turned the screen away. Every business dinner she dressed up for but never explained. Every time she told me, "You're overthinking again," in that cold, tired tone that made me feel like a child instead of a husband. I started to spiral. Couldn't sleep. Couldn't focus at work. I'd be editing videos or planning content for my channel, and then suddenly I'd be staring at the screen, frozen in this loop of horrible what ifs. What if she still saw him? What if she never stopped? What if I was the biggest joke in her life? My appetite vanished. I lost weight. Friends noticed, but I brushed them off. Said I was grinding, building something big. But I was breaking. And the worst part? She acted like she was the victim. Like I was the one making life hard by not letting it go. She'd snap. "How am I supposed to move on if you keep punishing me for it?" Punishing her? I was just trying to survive. There were nights I'd walk to the bathroom at 2 a.m. just to cry quietly. Couldn't let her hear. Couldn't give her the satisfaction of knowing how deeply she had cut me. But some nights, I'd stare at myself in the mirror, and I wouldn't even recognize the man looking back. I wasn't me anymore. I was a ghost in my own marriage. A shell of the guy who used to dream big, love hard, laugh loud. Now I was just tired. So damn tired. And still clinging to some shredded version of hope, because if I let go of her, it would mean admitting I'd been wrong about everything. About love. About loyalty. About her. But pain has a way of waking you up. And soon I'd find out, she wasn't done hurting me. In fact, the next betrayal? It wouldn't just be about money. Or luxury. It would be something real. Something close to home. And this time, I wouldn't be so forgiving. For a few weeks after that first disaster with Vince, things settled down, or at least they looked like they did. Emily made an effort. She cooked more. Left sticky notes on my laptop that said things like, "I love you, thank you for staying," with a little heart drawn at the bottom. She even suggested we take a weekend trip to Asheville, like old times, cabins, fireplaces, hiking. I almost let myself believe she was trying to rebuild what she broke. Almost. But something inside me had changed. I didn't trust smiles anymore. I didn't trust the word sorry. And I sure as hell didn't trust sudden affection that came right after someone ripped your heart out. I was watching everything now. Quietly. I wasn't digging through her phone, not anymore. I didn't need to. I watched her. Her eyes. Her tone. Her patterns. And that's how I saw the shift. There was this guy, probably in his late 20s, who started showing up a lot. Delivery guy. Courier for some app-based boutique service. First time I noticed him, I thought nothing of it. He dropped off flowers she said were from a client. Then food. Then documents. Then more flowers. And every single time, she was the one who signed. I remember joking once, "This guy delivers more stuff to you than Amazon." She didn't laugh. She just said, "He's nice. You don't have to be weird about it." That's when the gut feeling returned. The same one I had before Vince. But this time, I wasn't going to ignore it. One afternoon, I worked from home, didn't tell her. She thought I was on a podcast shoot. Around 2 p.m., I heard a knock. I peeked through the blinds. It was him. The courier. But this time, he wasn't holding anything. She opened the door in leggings and a tank top, hair down, barefoot. And I swear to God, she smiled like I hadn't seen her smile in months. Like she meant it. They didn't kiss. They didn't touch. But the body language? The lingering eye contact? It said enough. I stayed hidden. I watched from behind the hallway wall, heart racing, breath caught in my throat. When he left, I waited. Then I walked into the kitchen and casually asked, "Hey, what was that delivery?" She froze. Just for a second. Then turned and said, "Oh, nothing. Wrong address." Lie. Immediate. Instinctive. I nodded. Didn't press. Didn't show anything. But I felt it again, that flicker of rage mixing with heartbreak. The cocktail of betrayal. That night I couldn't sleep. Again. But I wasn't crying anymore. I wasn't breaking. I was planning. Because here's the thing, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice? You're not just cheating. You're taunting. And this time, she wasn't cheating up. She wasn't with a millionaire in a penthouse suite. She was messing around with a courier. A kid probably making minimum wage, who didn't even have a proper car. That's when something in me snapped for good. It wasn't just about love anymore. It was about respect. And she had none left for me. But what she didn't know was that I wasn't going to confront her this time. I was going to outplay her. You know what they say, the second betrayal never hurts quite the same. That's a lie. It hurts worse. Because this time you knew better. This time, the warning signs were screaming, and you still hoped it was just your paranoia. But it wasn't. Emily wasn't done. And neither was I. After that courier visit, I decided to stop playing the heartbroken husband. No more begging for truth, no more waiting for her to come clean. I wanted proof. Cold, undeniable, in-her-face proof. I called up my buddy Nate, tech guy, real quiet, not the type to ask questions. Told him I needed help setting up a few cameras around the house. Discreet ones? He didn't even blink. Just said, "You want audio too?" Hell yes, I did. We placed one in the living room, one in the hallway facing the front door, and one tiny one in the bedroom behind a picture frame. I told Emily I had to travel for a client shoot in Atlanta, a total lie. I booked a cheap Airbnb on the other side of town. Sat there in front of a laptop screen, heart pounding, watching live feeds of my own house. It felt disgusting. But betrayal does that. It pulls you into a version of yourself you never thought you'd be, a quiet, calculating version that watches instead of asks. First 2 nights? Nothing. She came home, cooked, watched Netflix. Normal. But on night 3 it happened. Around 6:30 she got a text. I saw the notification light up her phone. She smiled. Not a soft smile, a hungry one. The kind I hadn't seen in a long time. She changed clothes, sprayed perfume, and put on lip gloss. I watched her check herself in the mirror 3 times. Then came the knock. It was him. The courier. Wearing joggers and a hoodie, like he just stepped out of some gym locker room. She opened the door and whispered, "You're early." And he said, "I swear to God. Couldn't wait anymore." They laughed. Walked straight past the couch. Straight to our bedroom. I muted the audio. I had to. Some things, you don't need to hear. I just stared at the screen. Blank. Still. Hollowed out. All I could think was, you chose him? Over everything we built? Over the years, the vows, the sacrifices? And then, a twist I didn't see coming, she gave him a small gift bag. He pulled out a brand new smartwatch. One I paid for. She joked. Perks of dating a married woman. That's when I realized she wasn't ashamed. She was comfortable. Like this had been going on for weeks, maybe months. And I'd been the fool financing the whole show. I downloaded the footage. Every second. Every word. Every smirk. Then I called the bank. Because if she was going to treat me like I didn't matter, I was about to show her just how much I did. The next morning, I didn't cry. I didn't punch walls. I didn't even feel heartbroken anymore. I felt focused. Cold. Like the part of me that used to love her had finally died in that moment. I watched her hand another man a gift I paid for, while lying in our bed. So I did what any man with nothing left to lose would do. I got smart. You see, while Emily had been sleeping with a courier and pretending to play house with me, I'd been paying attention. Over the years, I handled most of our finances. Her trust fund had long since dried up, and most of her spending came through our joint accounts. I was the one who taught her how to invest, how to build credit, how to move money. Hell, I even set up the side account for her. Freelance event work. Turns out, that's where Vince's gifts went too. And lucky for me, the passwords? Still the same. Step 1 was simple. I locked her out of every account she ever had access to. Changed passwords, shut off credit cards, froze lines, and rerouted autopayments. If she tried to use her favorite makeup subscription or order overpriced wine from her app, she'd get a nice transaction declined. Step 2. I pulled every dollar from that freelance account, the one she'd hidden Vince's deposits in, and dropped it into a fresh savings account with just my name on it. You want to call it petty? Fine. But remember, she was the one who lied, used me, and laughed in my face while doing it. That money? She said she did it for us. So I decided to keep it for me. Step 3 was where it got delicious. I printed out the screenshots, the DMs, the hotel receipts from her email, even the image of her handing the courier that smartwatch. Then I gathered the footage from the cameras, burned it all onto a flash drive, and left it on her pillow in a little velvet box with a note that said, "You've been so generous lately. Thought I'd return the favor. Enjoy the highlight reel." Then I left. Packed up my stuff while she was at brunch with her mom, took my camera gear, hard drives, clothes, and the damn espresso machine she always said she bought. She didn't. I did. I didn't leave a goodbye, didn't wait for a confrontation. I just ghosted. Quiet. Efficient. Like a damn professional. She called 17 times that night. I didn't answer once. Then the text started. "Chris, what is this? Where's the money? Why are my cards declined? You're being crazy. You seriously stole from me? You're overreacting, again." Same script. Same lies. Same manipulation. But I wasn't that man anymore. I sent her one reply. Just one. "I didn't steal anything. I took back what was mine. And you can keep the courier. Hope he tips well." She didn't respond. Not right away. But trust me, this story wasn't over yet. Because Emily? She wasn't the type to take a loss quietly. And I wasn't done either. You'd think after getting caught twice, having all her dirty secrets exposed, and watching her money disappear overnight, Emily would have just backed off. Moved on. Started over. But no. Emily didn't cry. She didn't apologize. She launched a campaign. It started with a phone call from a mutual friend, Julia. She said, "Hey, I just talked to Emily. She told me you emptied her accounts and left her for no reason. She's saying you've been emotionally abusive for years." I laughed out loud. "Are you serious?" Apparently, Emily had flipped the script so fast, it would make your head spin. She told people I'd become controlling, that I had serious anger issues, and that she strayed emotionally, only because she felt unsafe and neglected. She left out the part where she was getting emotional with a 60-year-old millionaire and a courier with a neck tattoo. She even posted a cryptic story on Instagram, a picture of her crying, with a caption like, "Sometimes the person you trust most turns out to be the one who breaks you the worst." The comments poured in. "You don't deserve this, Em. Stay strong. Men are trash. You're so brave for speaking your truth." And there I was, the villain of a story she wrote. At first, I stayed quiet. I figured the truth would speak for itself. But then she started texting me again, not to apologize, but to threaten. "If you don't return the money, I'll go to the police. You stole from me. That's a felony, Chris. I'll ruin you." That last one? That one hit different. Because for years I let her gaslight me, cheat on me, and walk all over my loyalty like it was a welcome mat. But now she wanted to ruin me? Just because she lost the game she started? No. I wasn't hiding anymore. So I called Nate again, and this time, we made a plan. I took everything, screenshots, video clips, her own texts and voice messages, and compiled a private digital folder. Not for the internet. Not for revenge porn. For protection. And just in case she decided to get legal? I had more than enough to shut her lies down in court. Proof of her infidelity. Her taking money from Vince. Her gifting items I paid for to another man. Her own admissions. I sent her one final message. Try anything, and the full truth goes public. Emails. Photos. Video. I've got it all. You've already played the victim, but I've got the receipts. She didn't reply. But that wasn't the end of her story spinning. She started telling people I cheated. That I was the one who drove her into someone else's arms. And as disgusting as it was, some people believed her. That was the hardest part. Not the betrayal. Not the sex. Not even the lies. The hardest part was realizing how fast people pick sides, and how many want to believe a good sob story, no matter how fake. But I wasn't going to let that break me. This wasn't just survival now. This was about rebuilding. On my own terms. After the storm she unleashed, I found myself in a strange, lonely place. I'd lost more than just a wife. I'd lost the image of who I thought I was. The guy who trusted, who loved hard, who believed in forever. And suddenly, all that felt like a joke. Friends I thought were solid suddenly stopped answering my calls. Some nodded politely but kept their distance, uncomfortable with the messy truth. Others sided with her, repeating her narrative like it was gospel. Chris must have pushed her away. Maybe if he had been better. It was brutal. Because when you're the betrayed, the one who was hurt, you expect sympathy. You expect people to rally behind you. But the truth is, betrayal isolates you. Makes you question your worth. Makes you wonder if you're broken beyond repair. I remember walking through my old neighborhood, headphones in, trying to drown out the voices in my head. Every happy couple I saw was a punch to the gut. Every social media post of love and success felt like salt in the wound. But here's the thing about pain, it's also a teacher. Slowly, painfully, I started to rebuild. I focused on my work, on my YouTube channel, on telling stories like mine to others so they wouldn't feel so alone. I realized that forgiving Emily wasn't about her. It was about me reclaiming my life. And walking away wasn't giving up, it was choosing peace over poison. The best advice I can give anyone going through this: don't let the lies define your story. Don't let the manipulation convince you that you're the villain in your own life. Trust your gut. Protect your heart. And when the dust settles, remember, you are more than someone's betrayal. Emily's story ended with her choosing shortcuts, lies, and selfishness. Mine's just getting started. Just when I thought I was finally turning the page, life threw me a curveball that no amount of preparation could have stopped. About 6 months after Emily and I officially went our separate ways, I was scrolling through social media, trying to stay focused on my channel and the positive messages I wanted to share, when I saw something that froze me in place. Emily had posted a photo, not just any photo, but one that made my blood run cold. It was her and Vince, the rich old man, smiling, holding hands like they were some kind of power couple. No shame, no regrets. The caption? New beginnings with someone who really cares. My heart sank, but it wasn't just that. It was the fact that I had never known the full extent of what happened between them. The whole time, she'd spun it as just a client. But this was different. This was real. I felt anger rise again, but underneath it all, there was confusion and something I hadn't felt in a long time: betrayal, again. How many lives was she living without me? How many lies had she told to cover the truth? Then came the call that changed everything. It was Vince's lawyer. Apparently, Vince had recently passed away, and there was a will, one that named Emily as a beneficiary. Not just a small inheritance, but a sizable chunk of his estate. I was stunned. Did she know? Was this part of the plan all along? Or was she just riding the wave until it crashed? It felt like I was trapped in some twisted soap opera. My ex-wife, the millionaire's mistress, suddenly a wealthy woman herself, and me? I was still picking up pieces of a life she'd shattered. But I wasn't ready to let her win. Not yet. I knew that if I wanted peace, I had to face this head on. No more running, no more silence. This was going to be the final chapter. Finding out Emily was named in Vince's will felt like another gut punch, the kind that leaves you breathless and angry all at once. I mean, here I was, scraping myself off the floor after everything she'd done, and now she was set to inherit a fortune from the very man she'd used as a ticket to luxury. I had to know more, so I contacted Vince's lawyer. What he told me was even more shocking. Emily was not just a beneficiary, she was one of the primary heirs, set to receive a hefty sum that would instantly change her life. It was maddening. I kept thinking, did she ever love me? Or was I just a stepping stone? The lawyer also mentioned something else. Vince had left behind a detailed letter expressing his admiration for Emily's strength and ambition, but also his concerns about her lifestyle. Apparently, Vince suspected Emily wasn't entirely truthful about her situation, but that never stopped him from wanting to help her. Knowing this, I had two choices: let her have it all or fight. And believe me, after everything, the lies, the cheating, the betrayal, fighting was the only option. But it wasn't just about money anymore. It was about justice. I hired a lawyer to investigate the situation and look into any legal loopholes, whether there was proof of manipulation, coercion, or fraud in how Emily came into Vince's estate. It was messy, exhausting, and emotionally draining. Every phone call, every meeting reminded me of the years lost to someone who never cared. Meanwhile, Emily? She flaunted her new wealth like a trophy, posting designer bags and luxury getaways, pretending like she'd won the lottery, and maybe she had, but at what cost? As the legal battle dragged on, I realized something: money could complicate everything, but it couldn't heal a broken heart. It couldn't undo the damage. And more than that, it couldn't make her suddenly become someone worth trusting. I stayed focused on one thing: protecting what was rightfully mine and finally freeing myself from the chains of her deception. The legal fight over Vince's estate quickly became more than just paperwork and court dates. It became a battle for my sanity. Every hearing, every meeting, reminded me of how tangled this mess had become. Emily was ruthless, working every angle to keep her share, spinning stories to the judge about her hardships, and deserving a fresh start. It was exhausting. But I wasn't alone. That's the part people don't often talk about, the unexpected allies you find in the darkest moments. My lawyer wasn't just a sharp mind, he believed in the truth. He helped me gather proof of Emily's manipulation, her lies about the money, and the way she used Vince. It wasn't just about legal documents anymore, it was about exposing the real story. Then there was my closest friend, Sarah, who stood by me every step of the way. She listened when I felt broken, pushed me when I wanted to give up, and reminded me who I was before all this betrayal. Her support was like a lifeline. Slowly, I started feeling like I was taking back the life Emily had tried to steal. Each small victory in court, every truth revealed, helped me rebuild my confidence. I was no longer the man crushed under lies. I was a man fighting for justice and dignity. And that's when the biggest change happened, not in the courtroom, but inside me. I realized I didn't need Emily's money, or her apology, or even her acknowledgement. What I needed was peace. The kind that comes from knowing you stood your ground, told your truth, and didn't let betrayal define you. Because at the end of the day, control isn't about the money or the drama, it's about owning your story and moving forward with your head held high. After the court battles finally settled, I found myself with a strange mix of relief and emptiness. The legal fight had drained me physically and emotionally, but it also gave me something I hadn't felt in a long time: closure. Emily got some of the inheritance, sure, but more importantly, I got my life back. Rebuilding wasn't easy. It felt like putting together a shattered mirror, with every piece reflecting a different version of myself: the hopeful Chris, the betrayed Chris, the angry Chris. I had to learn to accept all of them. The first step was forgiveness. Not for Emily, God, no. But for myself. Forgiving my own naivety, my mistakes, my moments of denial. It took time, but forgiving myself helped me heal in ways I never expected. I threw myself into my YouTube channel with renewed purpose. Sharing my story wasn't just about exposing betrayal, it was about connecting with others who felt alone in their pain. The messages from viewers thanking me for my honesty became a source of strength. I also learned to trust again, slowly and carefully. Not just others, but myself. My instincts, my judgment. I realized that betrayal doesn't have to define who you are, it can be the catalyst for who you become. Now I'm not the same guy who thought he had forever with Emily. I'm better. Wiser. Stronger. And if there's one thing I want everyone watching to remember, betrayal is brutal, but it's not the end. You can survive it. You can grow beyond it. And you can find peace on the other side. If you told me a few years ago that the woman I loved, the woman I trusted with every fiber of my being, would betray me twice, manipulate me, and lie with a coldness I never expected, I wouldn't have believed you. Love, to me, was this beautiful, unbreakable bond, the kind of thing you build your whole life around. But betrayal changes everything. It shatters that illusion in a way that leaves you raw and vulnerable. I learned the hard way that trust is fragile. It's not just about believing someone won't hurt you, it's about knowing they won't take you for granted or treat you like a backup plan. Emily's choices taught me that some people are driven by selfishness and convenience. They wear masks and tell stories to hide who they really are. And as much as I wanted to see the good in her, sometimes the truth is ugly and unforgiving. But here's the thing, betrayal, no matter how devastating, doesn't have to be your end. It's a brutal chapter, yes, but it's also a turning point. For me, it forced me to confront my own worth, to rebuild my identity outside of a relationship built on lies. It pushed me to be stronger than I thought I could be. I won't lie, the pain never fully disappears. There are still moments when a song, a scent, or a memory cuts deep. But those moments are fewer and farther between. And they remind me that I survived. That I'm still standing. For anyone out there who's walking through something similar, hear me loud and clear, don't lose yourself. Don't let betrayal define your story. Hold tight to your truth, seek support, and don't be afraid to walk away when it's toxic. Healing is messy, but it's worth fighting for. So here we are, at the end of this story, a story that, honestly, I never wanted to live through but now share openly with all of you. Betrayal is one of the most painful experiences anyone can face. It's a wound that goes deeper than just broken trust. It shakes your entire world, makes you question your judgment, your worth, and even your future. But if there's one thing I want everyone watching to take away, it's this: you are not alone. So many people have walked through the fire of betrayal and come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more in tune with who they truly are. It's not easy. It's often a messy, painful journey filled with doubt and heartbreak. But healing is possible. What helped me the most was reclaiming my narrative. I stopped letting the lies and manipulation define me. Instead, I chose to tell my truth, honestly, raw, and without shame. That's why I share these stories on my channel, so others don't feel trapped by silence or guilt. If my story can help even one person find the courage to confront their pain and start healing, it's worth every difficult moment. To anyone watching this who's going through something similar, please know this: your feelings are valid. Your pain is real. But it does not have to be permanent. You have the power to rebuild, to set boundaries, and to love yourself fiercely. Don't be afraid to seek support, from friends, family, or professionals. And remember, walking away from something toxic is not a failure, it's an act of bravery. If you've experienced betrayal or want to share your story, I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let's build a community where we support each other, break the stigma, and grow stronger together. Thank you for trusting me with your time and attention. If you found this story meaningful, please like, subscribe, and share it with someone who might need to hear it. Remember, no matter how dark it gets, there's always a way back to the light. This is Chris signing off. Stay strong. Stay honest. And above all, stay true to yourself.